Hello. In this video I'm going to show you how you can make this crappy headset sound professional. To go from this to sounding a bit more closer to this.
Tim's Media.
Hi, this is Editing Jack. Now, I just want to point out that because of some audio fluke that happened, basically I was trying to record audio on two separate pieces of equipment. My computer wasn't having it. But basically, in this episode, I was talking about how I'm going to change the headset to sound better in the same way that I did my Blue Yeti microphone. And then I go on to show you the example I prepared in the intro for the intro. So just follow the steps that I have done and you should get a better headset sound for your mic. So if you want to listen to that, then you can. To sounding a bit more closer to this. So that's what we've got to work with. And what we're going to do is head over to the multi-track. Now, we're going to go about this in a similar way to how we did the Blue Yeti mic. Right. Okay, so if you're watching me, there in the near the top left corner, there should be something called Effects Rack. Now, this is where you will add your effects to your track or to your clips. So we're using track effects because we want it to be the same, and then we'll save it as a preset, something like headset microphone. Okay, so add the first effect. You just want to press the green on button, or the on button, and then it will turn green. And then you want to go to Filter and EQ, parametric equalizer. Okay, so first of all, you want to press HP at the bottom, and basically you want to drag the HP to the 60 mark, roughly. If you want to, we can just listen to one bit and make sure it's looped. Yep, it is. Okay, and then we can just listen to that. To sounding a bit more, to sounding a bit more, to sounding a bit more, to sounding a bit more. That's fair gain, and then what we'll do is move the H up a little bit. Around about here, and then change this to an S shape. And this is where you can play around with it a little bit. So I'm going to drag this all over here, so it's going to get to 5k, and then at least up here we can also play it just to make sure. To sounding a bit more, 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 to sounding a bit more. It's okay. For what we need, it will do fine. And then once that's all sorted out, we then just press X. Dynamics processing is the next thing, so you want to go into the same place where you got the parametric equalizer, amplitude and compression, and then dynamics processing. Now, these things are fairly simple. You just want to take the first little knob and move it up 2 bars, roughly. And that's pretty much it. And then we just X out of that. Oh, well, we can hear it. To sounding a bit more, 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 to sounding a bit. Brings it up a little bit. Then third one is our favourite, the FFT filter. Filter and EQ, FFT filter is the first option available. Now, what you want to do at the 100 mark, you just want to click on the line and it will give you a knob. And then you want to do the same for the 1K mark and the 10K mark. These will be our ranges that we play around with. So first, drop off anything below 100 Hertz. And then you just want to drop our 1K just a little bit below, so that's the middle option, and then increase our 10K guy to roughly halfway between 6 and 12. We can listen to what it sounds like
more, to sounding a bit more, to sounding a bit more, to sounding a bit more.
It just makes the vocal presence a bit sharper. Should be able to pick that.
To sounding a bit more.
Yeah, and it may distort a little bit, but we'll fix that towards the end. And you just want to exit out of that. The fourth reset, I think this is probably one of our favourite ones. It should be the tubular, it's the tube moduled compressor. So amplitude compression, tube module compressor is the last option available. Just want to add that. Always go for radio leveler. It's the best option you can go, and keep it at -6 for best effect. And
to sounding a bit more, to sounding a bit more, to sounding a bit more, to sounding a bit.
It just evens it off slightly. And then we want to go to our classic, I think it's mood band. See the mood band compressor. Might be mood compressor. We'll check. Amplitude compression, multi-band compressor. That was it. And then it's basically just booster. Practically the same settings that I had for the Blue Yeti. So if you want to, hopefully you can still see these figures. So it's between -24 and -36 on the blue column. Then it's at -24 on the orange column, between -24 and -36 on the green column, and then a little bit more than halfway between -24 and -36 on the purple column. And then what you want to do, because it's going to be a bit loud,
bit more, to sounding a bit more,
is just decrease
to sounding a bit more, to sounding a bit more,
the output gain until it just stays in that stays in the orange sweet zone, which is what most broadcasters use and try to keep their stuff at their audio level at. If they do go beyond that, then obviously they implement a limiter into their OBS software, which I'll talk about in a future video. Our last thing is the denoise. So this will get rid of any noise in the background. But before that, if you just want to listen, so this is without anything.
To sounding a bit more, to sounding a bit more,
a bit low, and then turn it on.
To sounding a bit more, to sounding a bit more.
It's already got that bass that we want. And then we're just going to add denoise to decrease the noise in the background, because not everyone has a studio setup, especially me. I don't have any acoustic treatment, so we want to try and get rid of as much of that background noise as possible. So say it's light noise reduction, light noise reduction, and then just under about 40% underneath 50, and that should be plenty.
Sounding a bit more, to 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 sounding.
Yeah. Apart from that, that should really be it. And then we'll just press G to get out of that. So this is what the whole thing sounds like without, just to remind ourselves.
To sounding a bit more closer to this.
And then with it.
To sounding a bit more closer to this.
Sounds better, a bit more high value. Yeah, and then once we've done that, I just want to ensure that we right click and match clip loudness. Always have it at -16 lufs. That is great, and that will have it as highest peak. And then we will select it all in the waveform section. And I mean, you can't really see that, but just under my webcam there are two tabs, waveform and multi-track. The waveform is basically the first that you get to use, essentially. Okay, so now we've got an example where you can hear this noise.
Just sounding a bit more closer to
I mean, you can't really hear it, but there's still noise. You can see it visually, like it's there. Like if I was to increase the thing, look, you can see how it's created a waveform, so there's stuff in the background. We want to create that at 0 again, so we'll select that, go to Effects, Noise Reduction, and Capture Noise Print. This will capture the noise that needs to be removed, and then we will go to select the whole clip and noise reduction, and then do noise process, and that uses that voice print, and then we just apply, and see, the waveform is gone. So now
to sounding a bit more closer to this.
Wait, just want to apply that again because I accidentally didn't get everything. Noise print process, apply. Okay, that's done for everything now. And then we want to go to Effects, amplitude compression, normalize, keep it 95.8. That keeps it normalized. And then if you've got any distortion, then wait until I do a future video on it, because that is a little trick in itself. It's a little short video that I'll do, that I'm planning in the future. So, yeah, but that is about it.
To sounding a bit more closer to this. To sounding a bit more closer to this.
Okay, so it's a bit loud. Well then, what you want to do is just keep it looped. So I'll get I, O, to loop it.
Sounding a bit more. To 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 sounding a bit.
Oh no. We've lost our multiband compressor. Russian multiband compressor. Same settings as before.
More. To sounding a bit more. To sounding a bit more.
Okay, there we go.
Sounding a bit more. To sounding a bit more. To sounding a bit more closer to this. To sounding a bit more closer to this. To sounding a bit more.
We might want to
closer
reduce some of the
this.
processing.
To sounding a bit more closer to this. 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 to sounding a bit more closer to this.
Okay, that'll do for now. Yeah, I think that's about it. And then once you've done that, go to multi-track at the top, or the top section, and then mix down session to new file, entire session, and then this will give us our new clip
Sounding a bit more
that we just rendered. And we can make sure that's normalized. Normalized process, apply.
to sounding a bit more.
And then we got a bit more of that bass back in. But yeah, that is how you can make an ordinary headset mic sound a bit more professional. Hope it did for some of you. Obviously the statistics will vary depending on what type of range your headset mic goes to, so you may have to play around with the settings a little bit, but that is practically and pretty much it. Mine has been Jack Timms. You've been watching Timms Media. Goodbye.
Timms Media.